a long time, I was scared to share my true color, to be who I truly was. I was hiding in the story I was reading, fearful of what people would think about me. But this ends now. I have stopped running. I decide to accept my diversity. Today, I will share our story of neurodiversity and mental health awareness. Welcome on the ADHD Melly Show. Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm doing fine. I'm so happy to see you this week as well. And for this very important subject about inclusivity at work, I always talk about that, how important it is for neurodivergent, for disabled people to be able to get a job, keep the job, and get the accommodation they need to succeed. So that's what we're going to talk with Amanda. This episode is going to be less long than usual because she has an appointment after the show, and I'm grateful that she didn't cancel. She's still with us today. So just shout out to Amanda that she's coming now. Clap your hands for Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so grateful to see you today. And Juana is here on our YouTube channel. I'm grateful to see you there.
Yes, I'm very nervous, I'll say.
No worries. It's going to be easy question for you. So first of all, what I always ask is to introduce yourself. Tell me what you do with your life and why mental health and neurodiversity is so important for you.
Yeah. So my name is Amanda, and I am I'm an experience manager at Parker Staffing, and it has been just a phenomenal leap in my career life and also in my personal life because that's actually where all of this came from, where all of this started. And I'm a mom. I have a 5-year-old son. I'm married, and this has just been a really great experience. It's showing across the family. So, and I work within the recruiting realm, and I speak on behalf of our candidates and to our candidates directly, making sure that they have a good experience through the whole recruiting process. And it's kind of funny how I got here. So I'm sure we'll dive a little bit deeper into that. But I actually have ADHD type 3, which is combined. So I get both sides of the pie.
Me too.
And yeah, so what is interesting that I've come to realize is that it's not what WebMD tells you. It's so much deeper than that. And I'm still learning about myself, and accepting who I am is like the biggest part. So yeah.
And how was your career process? Did you have difficulty to find work when you were younger? How is work for you at work?
Yeah. Well, so to begin with, I started working, I think I had to have been like 13 or 14. And I started working actually within a veterinarian's office, and I was working with the animals. And that kind of just started the whole idea of how much I loved having a career. I loved working. And I also was starting to, I've always experienced bullying. Unfortunately, we all have. But I was experiencing bullying since I started in kindergarten. And at that point, when I started my first job, I realized that this was a place where I was starting fresh and no one knew who I was. So I could kind of make up my own persona. And that it's unfortunate. I spent a majority of my career and my life hiding who I was. And unfortunately, I didn't realize it until later on, actually during the pandemic, when I realized how much my mental health and everything that I was going through actually is intertwined in my career, because I spend a majority of my time where I work. So if I can't bring my real self to work, am I bringing my real self to my life as well too? So it's been it was right after the pandemic began. I got laid off. Actually, I think I got laid off on like April 1st, which was not a prank. And that started me kind of dipping and going
Mhm.
downhill. And I started to see some really dark sides of myself, because I was also stuck in a house where I had to really like I had to
Mhm.
like see myself and who I was every day. I couldn't hide it. And um, I think it was almost a year ago where it hit me really hard, and I was actually at my lowest. I experienced really high highs and really low lows, and I hit my very low, and my husband and I were talking about whether I should be admitted or not, and um, for some crazy, the most amazing reason, I got an email from the company I'm actually working for right now, and that is actually where it all started, and the whole interviewing process was actually it started out like how you would expect, just a neurotypical way, but actually the person that I interviewed with, who is my boss, she pivoted the whole experience for me, and she stopped the whole interview and said, I want to hear more about who you are as a human being and not, who you are wanting to be here for this company. And so I was able to like that kind of hit home for me because before interviewing, I told myself like how much do I really want to talk about my ADHD? How much do I want to talk about my mental health? So from that point forward, it was like, let's just be honest. Let's have an honest
Mhm.
conversation about who we are as people. So now I've gotten to a great place where I am actually I I I tell her when I'm about to have an episode. I tell her when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm gonna have a meltdown. My episodes are depression. They're oftentimes they are chemically induced, and then some of it is trauma induced. But those do happen. I would say probably once a month, and then the meltdowns. Those are kind of just random. I'm very sensitive to hearing things. So, or having too much overwhelm of um, a lot of things happening at once. So I mean, those are all just things that happen day to day that I'm able to
Mhm.
really talk about at work. So
And how does it work with your colleague? Do they know about your situation, or your boss is the only one to know? Because I know that your colleague can help you manage some symptoms or understanding how you feel. So do they know, or only your boss does?
I think actually everyone knows, and we have a meeting when someone is coming on board. We actually have a meeting with them. Everyone gets to meet with them because we all work virtually, and
Mhm.
so we'll get into our little what we call a coffee chat. And I
Mhm.
immediately start off with like, "Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm the experience manager. I'm sure you probably don't know what an experience manager is. So, ask me questions. But I also want to let you know that I have ADHD. I'm neurodivergent. And, sometimes I do silly things and this is why." So everyone does know. And I do send out frequent emails that are more personal that say, "Hey, today, I'm experiencing imposter syndrome, and you may be feeling that too. Maybe you have felt that, or you've experienced it. But I want you all to know that this is normal, and that you're not alone because I'm going through it right now too. So
Mhm.
stuff like that will appear here and there through our conversations. So
Yeah, I'm happy that you have a great job. Like Petra said, you do have a very amazing boss,
she
and I hope
is.
they were all like that, because
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know, but 80% of neurodivergent don't have a nice situation when
No.
it comes to employment, etc., etc. So,
Yeah.
So you are the person that hire other people. So how do you make an interview process made for neurodivergent?
Yeah, so it's actually so we've got a team of recruiters, and my job is to speak for the candidates, and I also do speak for anyone within the diversity range. I speak for having people of color and the neurodiversity, and also speaking to a lot more other things that we're a mixture of people at this company. So that's what we're representing. So I represent
Mhm.
neurodiversity. We represent LGBTQ plus people of color, the whole range. And so that is what I continuously do with my team is we have these conversations. Okay, how can we be more or less bias? What can we be doing? Here's these websites, these resources. That's what I do is I bring it to the table and I say, this is what I've found. This is what people are talking about. This is what people are talking about in my community. What are your, people in your community talking about? I constantly bring up the conversations about what do all of our team members support? What is something that they support that I can help bring in those resources? So it is a very big team effort, but I'm just kind of the stepping stone. I just provide resources and I just keep talking obnoxiously about it until something, something happens.
Yeah. And so you work with not necessarily you, but your team also work with different businesses and company and other manager and all other bosses. So what do you say to that manager or that boss for when they are like reticent? Are they sure I want to hire that kind of person? I'm talking not necessarily about LGBTQ and black people, etc. I'm really talking about neurodiversity and disabled people because I think those are another part of the stigmas, even
Mhm.
more maybe than black people and LGBTQ, because they're scared they are not going to be able to do the work because of
Right.
their disabilities.
Yeah. So one thing that is amazing about Parker Staffing, so it's a staffing firm, and before I even started here, it was the conversation of, okay, well, what is the cliche
Mhm.
stuff about staffing firms? And one thing that I didn't know until I had come across Parker Staffing is that Parker Staffing actually offers the same benefits that we receive internally. And so the one thing that has been really big is that our benefits help me both with my mental health and with the health care that I need in order to continue being stable. So, and we also, just beyond the benefits, beyond the health care and all of that, we also have a full team behind the scenes that we create groups, diversity groups, and I'm currently working with my team on bringing more neurodiversity groupings and resources to the table for individuals, for our contractors, which are people who are hired for these companies. And so we offer um, just like a safe space. We offer opportunities to not just internal employees, but also to our contract employees as well.
So if I am an employee or somebody that wants to be an employee, I'm a candidate. That's the right word. And I have and I have to ask for accommodation because I don't know. I cannot stay. I need break every hour and a half because my brain needs it. I
Mhm.
need to have a close space to work, etc., etc. So how should you bring it to the employer without scaring him and proving that you can do your job even better and you are a great investment to take on?
Yeah. So one thing again that I am a great stepping stone for is those types of conversations, and that's why I try to heavily keep myself within the different job seeking groups and any conversation that I can be a part of. But a lot of times, we will work together as a team. I'll work with the recruiters and we'll talk about those types of
Mm-hmm.
accommodations. And a lot of times, and this is a part of why I was really excited to talk about it today, is a lot of times people just don't want to say anything. We just want to cover it up or
Mm-hmm.
pretend like we don't have anything going on. And that's a big, reason why I came out with who I am, is because I do need those accommodations. And so I am here to say, like, it's hard, but you have to find that in your life where you can be honest about yourself and with yourself and about yourself, so that people like me, I can help create those conversations. And so working with with the recruiting team, I'm able to say, hey, here are some candidates that I've partnered with community members so that I can there is a community. I'm from Seattle, Washington. So there's a couple of nonprofit organizations that do work with individuals within the neurodivergent community. And so I work with these partners so that they can bring us candidates that have had some sort of job training, or they have been able to do mock interviews and are preparing. So those partners come to us and say, hey, here's these candidates. We've got them ready. They are interested in this role. Here's with the kind of accommodations that this individual needs. Let's integrate it into the interviewing process. And again, those are conversations that need to keep happening
Mm-hmm.
so that we can keep having the whole process, not just the accommodation needs to start from the very beginning, not just when you get into your job. So it's the whole onboarding process. I mean, for me, I ask a million questions, and I tell my boss all the time, I really appreciate how you just let me ask my questions and you don't ever you're not judging me. You always check to make sure I don't have any more questions. It's just, we just have to be honest. And I know it's really hard to be honest because I've been there.
It is.
And I don't know, people, I've been abused by companies, by bosses, or by other coworkers, where they're antagonizing you, and just like that, you don't want to live with that. I don't want to live with that ever again. And I feel like I'm in that safe space, and I want other people to be in that safe space.
So but using your own experience, if you have bad experience with other job, how can you be confident to find another job fitting for you, because you have all those bad experience, you're scared this will happen again? How can you find your confidence to tell your accommodation tells that you're ADHD or autistic, etc.?
I would say, honestly, the sooner that you have that conversation, the better, because even if you're uncomfortable, because if you have it like me, where I'm getting to the point where, like, I'm questioning if I should be admitted because I'm so depressed and I feel like my self-worth and everything is out the door. If I'm at that point, that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to start right now. We need to be talking to ourselves first and say, like, what is important for me to keep going in my life? Okay, having healthcare is really important.
Mm-hmm.
So our family is really important. Work-life balance is really important. And I'm not going to stop fighting for myself until I get that. And it's really hard. It is really hard to go through all of that, go through the rejection, go through. I mean, I've been ghosted, I've been rejected. We're all so sick sometimes of seeing the rejection email come through. But, you know, the one thing that I just had to keep reminding myself is something is going to come at some point, and it's going to change. It's going to change my life. Something is going to, because if I don't, then who knows where I'm going to be at. I need to keep being here for my son and for my husband and for my family. And if I'm going to keep being here, then I need to be honest. So that, once I was able to really be brave and accept it, was when I said, okay, well, now I need to make a list. Now I need to write down the accommodations that I need. So I actually just recently had a conversation with my boss and I said, I have this awesome superpower that my brain actually creates false memories. And so that sometimes, it doesn't, it will cause confliction in my ability to know, like confidence.
Mhm.
Something will happen and I will say to myself, did that actually happen? Or did my brain just make that up? And so I told her, here's the problem. Now, can you help me find a solution? And we worked together on it to find the solution, which was I need to have more things down in writing. So, having someone, I guess, when you're job seeking or you're interviewing, looking to find, uh, remembering you're interviewing the other people as well too,
Mhm.
the hiring managers and the management executives. You're interviewing that company, so also that helps with confidence as well. But knowing what accommodations you need specifically, the better.
Exactly, and don't accept a job that you know you're not going to be well in it. Because sometimes you want to accept everything because you're like, I need money, I need money, I need money, I
Mhm.
need money. And you need to take that off of your mind because you won't be able to focus on what's the matter and you're just going to accept anything that you see. And that's necessarily a great idea as well. And that
Yeah.
can be also for contract or self-employment job as well. If you don't feel a good vibe, don't. It's because
Right.
your body and your mind tells you not to do, so just don't do it, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, you can't accept money if you're not here. I mean, it's
Exactly.
a reality of it is if you don't, money is important, especially to put
Mhm.
like a roof over your head, but you have to have the head first. You have to be here in order to accept all of those things. So I mean, you have to fight for your own life.
Exactly, if you want to go forward and just succeed, because, like I said, you cannot only think about the material things that are going to happen if you find a job. You have to think about your well being and how happy you're going to be to do that job, because you're going to be there 5 days a week, so you need to be comfortable with what you need to do, and
Yeah,
being happy with your career, because you're going to be depressed and go back to step one as fast
exactly.
as you arrive to that
Yeah.
job. Right.
Right. Well, and I think that when in terms of accommodations, you lay down your own accommodations and what is realistic for you. And for me, working in um, an environment that is too loud. Like I said, I'm sensitive to a lot of noise because what will happen is if there's too much noise, I can't actually hear anything. And so I work remote and that's really helpful, but there are times where I do need to be on site for things. So I try to set myself up for success and I try to remind myself that I need to ask for certain things that are going to help me be successful. So when I go into the office, I need to ask, is there a room that I can use that is quiet? Or I'm encouraged to wear headphones and listen to music because that's usually what keeps me on track. So, little things like that, where even if I work in person on site somewhere, I need to make sure I have the right set of accommodations for that. And if I work remote, then I need to make sure I have the right setting for that as well.
Exactly. It's going to be the end of the show soon. Amanda needs to leave, and we still have 5 minutes. And like I always ask my guests to do, if you have something else that you want to add on this podcast, something that we haven't talked about that is dear to your heart, you can go ahead and talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. So I work for Parker Staffing. I'm so proud to be a part of an amazing staffing firm, an amazing company. And it's not just about the company itself, it's about the humans behind all of it. But I encourage people who are looking for jobs and who are looking for a good experience to go and just be a part of our community, even if it's maybe you're not interested in the jobs that we have. We still have conversations, and we're open about who's in the company. I see you put our link here. The link is for my About Me on our company page, but you are able to go and look at all of the other individuals that work for Parker Staffing, and we're always open for conversations. So reach out, be a part of our community. I try to keep conversations open about the partners that we do partner with that help with mock interviews and job prep, and helping find business wear for whether you're working on site or remote, those kinds of things. So Parker Staffing, go check us out on LinkedIn. You can check us out on our website, and you can also see the jobs that we apply that we have available at this time.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. It was a great
Oh.
conversation. I hope that you all enjoyed it. We still have 2 minutes if you have any question that you want to ask our guest. I'm so happy that you accept to join me today. And I hope that you enjoyed the conversation as well, and you do a great job at your work and personal too, because you're here today talking about neurodiversity and at work. And this, like I said, it's very hard now to find job for a normal neurotypical person. Imagine for neurodivergent how hard it is. Some people said there's job everywhere, but the problem is the job is at fast food, and it's all it's minimal wage job. It's not like career that you're going to find. It's still hard with the pandemic, with the recession, etc., etc. There's a lot of fired people all in big company, a big layout and stuff, layoff. I mean, and we don't talk about that. Everybody say there's job, there's job, there's job. My family is always telling me there's job everywhere, but that's not true.
But you have to stay positive, and you just
Yeah,
have to remember that like something that you didn't get right now is like your stepping stone to something even better, and something
exactly.
in your future is good coming. You just have to keep fighting, and you just have to keep talking about it, and you have to be honest with yourself.
This is why I have the ADHD Millie show.
Yeah,
This is why I
exactly.
continue the ADHD Millie show, because I still want to educate as much as possible, and everybody could succeed. And I am
Yeah.
the living proof that I can do something with my life with ADHD. You are as well, and I'm so grateful that you've been here today. So
Thank
I
you.
see you guys next Friday, everybody, and thank you so much again for being here. It's such an
Yes.
honor to be your host today. Have a
Th-
nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.